So I really like this quote that says, "Their choice will not have been guided by a reading level, but by interest. And when needed, it will have been selected with the teacher's assistance." Choice means choice, which I love that. And then a better question might be, what do you want to think about? So one of my lower level readers has chosen a shark book this week. He does struggle to read some of the words, but he's interested. He's motivated to figure out the words. And he really does try to read it because he wants to learn about those sharks. If I was going to give him a book, a level, let's say D book that he's not interested in, I would normally just see him sitting there, looking at the pictures, chatting with a friend because he's not interested. Providing these students with a choice is letting them choose something that they want to read that is going to influence them. And, once again, ask them that question, what do you want to think about? I also really liked this quote. The teacher explained that she wanted students to focus on this day as they read. So something to focus on. And that's what I really want to implement into my silent reading is giving the students something to focus on every day. So that or even something every week. So when they're reading, they're gaining this skill. They're asking themselves these questions that are going to help them learn, but also think about themselves. And I especially want to do that like when I model, for instance, once again, reflecting back to when I read The Magic Tree House, what would you do if you were stuck in that water? How would that make you feel? Would you be scared if you were alone? And having those connections with the character keeps them more interested with the character as well. It really gets them thinking, and then if something happens that they weren't expecting or that they weren't thinking was going to happen, that surprised them. So now they're thinking, well, why did that happen? How did that happen? So really modeling these students how to become a good, focused, silent reader. So that way, when I send them off to read, they're choosing a book that is then circulating and focusing on these topics. So on page 132, I love this where it says, focused silent reading recognizes that the time we have with kids is valuable, so we should spend it wisely. So yes, focused silent reading is important. It is important to give students this time because not all students are going to have time to read at home. But we need to recognize that this time is going to be valuable. So I love how it worded this. And that does need to be spent time. And we do need to spend this time wisely. So instead of just having students go off, and silently read, which a lot of my students do and love it, give them something to think about, something to focus on. And even if we're not going to have time to go over it that day, at least I have the students, those gears in their head winding, thinking about what I had said before they read. So, reading at school and why it matters. We asked if kids could just read silently at home so that school can be a place for things other than reading. The problem with that idea is that not all kids have access to books in their home. Not all kids have parents who support reading at home, and not all kids have time or will make the time to read at home. And I 100% agree with this once again. I have students that I know they're not reading at home. I know parents don't have the time to read with them at home, or they go to daycare right after school. So it's important to me that I do provide not only the silent reading I've been doing with Reading Stamina, but also start getting involved with this focused silent reading so that students are becoming better readers and really asking themselves the BHH questions. What surprised me? How is this making me feel? What is this book about? And they're learning to do this on their own instead of me always guiding their thinking. So, with that being said, that is the end of my presentation. The only resource I had here was the book Disrupting Thinking, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.